Hi guys.
Hey, sorry. How are you?
Hey, good. You don't have to have your uh screens
You don't want to see my pretty face?
on.
Uh, oh my gosh.
You're just okay. It might just be us, but we're gonna record it and give it to the other people. I know it's kind of thrown together really quick, so here's where it
Okay.
is.
Oh, all good. Yeah, Lexi's on her way in here. She just had getting some dinner. 9 o'clock at night, having dinner. Uh,
Sometimes it happens that way.
oh yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. I wanted to start out first. Thank you for joining us and just give a little bit of my history. I worked for a real estate investor for about 8 years doing CFO controller type stuff for his development, general contractor stuff. It was a pretty large operation. He had over 1,000 rentals and he was building 500 homes a year. So it was crazy. We grew really quickly and we got our systems in order and our processes. And then I was like, hey, I want to go help lots of other people do this. So I started my own company and that's what I'm here for. And people get so overwhelmed when I'm first talking to them. So my goal is just to help guide people through the bookkeeping process now as best as I can. So that is what this is about. I present to clients on a monthly basis and that I don't get nervous for them. Uh, I've never done it in this platform before, but we'll see how it goes. If I'm good at it, maybe I'll do it more. We have a good presentation. Uh, okay, let me share my screen. I got some slides here. Oh, this is always the awkward moment, isn't it? Make sure I got the right screen up. All right. So I just wanted to start with 5 things every real estate investor needs to know about accounting. There are way more than 5 things you need to know, but this is where I thought these items would be a good starting spot, and we can do some Q&A after this. And hopefully these will discussions will we can expand into further ones if we need to drill down into one topic a little bit more. Um, so yeah, so the main thing is finding accounting software that fits your needs and your goals and that you'll actually use. So the questions that you can currently ask yourself is, are you satisfied with your current system? If it's working, that's fine. Um, but also, will your current system still work in 1 year? It's always best if you have massive goals. I'm gonna add 20 properties this year. You need to look ahead a little bit and make sure um, you have your systems and process in place to expand at that rate that large. You can start your research and everything. It's easier, when you have 1 or 2 properties, or even 10 or 20 properties. It's easier to transfer all your information into a bigger, more robust system at that before you like really start scaling into the hundreds of properties and stuff like that. um so always make sure where you're going is you're on track for that, and everything will fit. Doesn't always happen, but it's nice if you can stop and ask yourself that. And does your current system have all the functions you need to run your business? I run into a lot of people, oh, I love this software. This is the best software ever, but they're still having to recreate reports in Excel because their banker needs it a different way. When sometimes maybe it's just a difference of a couple of dollars a month. You upgrade the platform you're already on, or maybe it's time to switch another one, and you won't have to recreate all those reports in Excel. I've seen that so often. People Um, one little change can, really just make a huge difference that they don't have to spend hours recreating reports for somebody else for some other reason because uh, everybody likes their reports differently, right? So those are some things to currently ask yourself. If the answer is yes to all of those, then continue using it and keep going. And if the answer is no, then we can dive a little deeper into some other stuff here. Um, these are the three main things I like people to research. It's easy to get into analysis paralysis because there are so many options for software out there these days, and they're changing all the time. And they're all moving to web based, and it's it's just moving rapidly, and like one software isn't doing that great, and then all of a sudden they have a new release, and should I have gone back to them? You're always questioning yourself, and you can easily get into the trap of not. But so the biggest thing is to make a decision and just try to make that work as long as you can, as long as it is fitting your needs, and you're getting the reports your tax preparer needs, the report your banker needs, or your investors if you do private if you raise private money and all that. Because everybody has wants a different report. So here are the main factors when deciding on a software if you need to change from your current one. How many properties do you plan on having? There are a lot of options out there that seem great. And I've had people say, oh, well, I'm only going to use this software. And I'm like, well, I can't be your bookkeeper because that only tracks two different product lines or properties, and they already have five properties, and it's like we cannot make your reports do that. So if you hire me to do your bookkeeping, I would have to use that software and then recreate all these reports in Excel, and I just don't have time for that. So a lot of times, talk to your tax preparer and your bookkeeper if you currently have a bookkeeper. um if that, maybe that's something like that needs to have. um but if you use your accounting software that is within your property management software, then it's usually really great on reporting stuff like that. But if you use some of the other third party ones, um it gets a little strange on that. Of course, with Excel, I know a lot of people that use Excel and they use it brilliantly. So you can do whatever you want there. They build out just intricate, beautiful spreadsheets that I don't have the time to do that for myself. I'd rather pay for software. Um, and I also added, does your tax preparer have a preference? I ran into that this year. The tax preparer, absolutely did not want to use that, and so we had to pivot and change for one of our clients. And then also, what property management software are you using? A lot of times, property management software has its own. It's getting to have its own accounting function in there, but always be mindful that property management software is first and foremost a property management software. They leave accounting kind of in the back burner. I use, and I'll call out the biggest one here, Appfolio. I use them for 1,000 units, and it was wonderful on the property management side. They loved it. They loved the maintenance. They loved all that. But accounting, we literally had our customer service reps personal cell phone number to text him to say, hey, we need to change another bank account. And because they had to do so much on the back end of it. Um, but Appfolio is getting better as they go along. And so hopefully one day they'll be up there in their standards and reporting. So anyways, that is the just questions I would ponder when choosing accounting software. If you need to change it, or if you don't have one yet, then that's where I would start out, and always book a call with me. I love digging down and seeing what your needs really are, and helping you out if you get stuck in that analysis paralysis. Um, and the second main thing that I wanted to touch on tonight is, I think we all know to separate business and personal transactions. We all know that. We all don't always do it. I'm going to say I'm guilty right now. We went to a conference not too long ago, and it was purely by accident. I was just swiping my personal, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this should have been business." And it happens. But just because that happens, I do like to uh refresh everything, and keep it on people's forefront, because there's so many reasons that you need to keep this. And I think the one we all know, it helps protect you from your legal liability. You're not piercing the corporate veil, and keeping them separate keeps your business and your personal, especially when you get larger, in multiple LLCs and or businesses, however you structure everything. Um, it keeps it clean for tax purposes. This is my favorite thing to talk about for people. You save so much money on your bookkeeping if you aren't commingling your accounts. I have clients that do it. I have clients that are not going to change, and they're just going to continue to do it. I can't stop them from doing it, and we still do it, but they know that it increases their transaction counts, so we have to charge more for going through everything, and they're fine with that too. And we do everything separately like that. It's not uh that there's nothing saying that you absolutely can't do it right now. I know some bookkeepers out there, they're like, "Oh, I'm not going to take on a client like that." Um and that they can be like that, but it's just what it is. It keeps it clean, keeps your bookkeeping expenses down. So yeah. And I hate saying the A word, the audit word, but on the off chance you do get audited, it is so much nicer. I have a client that's been dealing with the IRS for a couple of years now, and we had to do a full year worth of receipts, and he had them all in a box. Um, but it was so nice because he did separate everything from business and personal, and it was so smoothly. I mean, it took us a few hours to go through everything and get it done, but I can only imagine if he had commingled on that. And it saves time when doing data entry. I talked a little too much on that first one, but that's whatever it is. For tracking your projections and making decisions. It's easier to track what goes where, and make quick decisions for your company without having your personal expenses in there. Um, Also, if you, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm going to go ahead and use my credit card because it gets me points and everything." Um, it's the points may help you, but a business credit card would help build your business credit faster, especially if you're brand new and you still you don't have your 2 years of tax returns in yet and everything. That it just amplifies that. Um, Oh yeah. So if you haven't, if you're a brand new business and you haven't formed your business yet, and you don't have your business documents to go down to the bank and open a bona fide business account, you can still use personal accounts, but just make it a separate one. So, your personal checking and your personal checking two is only for business transactions. Just keep those business transactions, because there are a lot of people, and there are coaches, there's classes out there to, start real estate, and they're like, don't get hung up on forming your LLC, just get started. And in that case, yes, please just get started, but just do a separate business account. And with the credit cards too. If you decide you want to use a personal credit card, use one that you don't use personal transactions on. It just makes everything clean, for that. And the biggest headache is having organized documentation. Um, Creating a system, I mean, I always like to, Brandon Turner and the Better Life Tribe always equates it, it always talks about creating habits. And I like to, you know, bring this into, if you get in the habit of organizing your documents and your receipts and everything, then you will, um, it'll go faster. And if you do it every day or every week, whatever system you come up with, it just makes things go so much faster. So just figure out a system to digitize all your receipts, invoices, your closing statements, your contracts with your uh, contractors, and store them in a secure cloud-based system for 3 to 6 years. Or you could store them on your hard drive too. Cloud-based systems are pretty reliable, but sometimes, I mean, when the IRS decides they want to drill into you, technically, it's usually like 3 years. But if they find something like really substantial, and that they think, oh, wait a minute, they can go up to like 6, 7 years. So, just do that. And if you're doing shady things, then definitely keep everything that you can. I don't know how to help you if you're doing shady things, but it's just where we're at. Um, and then create a standardized naming convention and folder structure for easy retrieval. And this could be something as simple as, I'm going to do it by date, or I'm going to do it by project. It doesn't have to be this fancy, all these folders. You can work yourself into a bigger, more robust system as your company grows. But just start somewhere, um, and do it the same all around. You could do it by bank account. You could do it by, there's a million ways out there to do it, but just decide once and just keep doing it that way. That way, the next time you're not mentally in a roadblock of, how am I going to do this? You've already decided how you're going to name it, and you just go in there and do it. And then 6 months down the road, uh, you can figure out if you change it. And eventually, you'll have enough cash flow to hire a VA, and they can do it for you. Then regularly back up your documents, and make sure your cloud-based system has them stored properly. We rely on cloud-based systems a lot, but you don't want to get in a bind from that. So you could get a separate storage unit, or not storage unit, but storage drive, if you felt more safe of having them with you. I have clients that do it all kinds of different ways, but uh it is up to you to have that data if anything were to ever happen. Um, and most of the time things don't happen, but you get that one client and something's happened, and it's so much easier when they have all their stuff. Okay, and then so one of the biggest things I see with prospects and new clients is the chart of accounts. Confuses so many people. Um, it can it can be complicated, or it can be simple, and I always go for simple. Your chart of accounts, your tax preparer may like it one way, your bookkeeper may like it another way, you may like it another way. Um, but you need to find just as simple as you can, and then maybe your tax preparer can break out what they need. But usually most tax preparers, I think, prefer simple, because if you look at your tax return, most of them, they don't have too many, they don't have 3 pages of a chart of accounts. Like, you can simplify it. You can do all utilities under one thing, or you can break them out into water, electrical. And the reason why you would need to you want to break them out, especially as a real estate investor, to track your different properties. And you could, you want to see if, especially if you have like a huge apartment complex and everything, you can track and see if, oh, why is the water so much higher this month? Is, you know, Betty Sue filling up a swimming pool in the, back alley or whatever, or is there a leak somewhere? But it can tell you so much. But some people have different ways. They use, their property management software to figure out stuff. So you can just lump it all into utilities. And I think a lot of confusion comes as real estate investors between repairs and maintenance. That's a big one that kind of confuses people. What do I put in repairs? What I put in maintenance? And that goes back to decide once. Make a decision of what you call repairs and what you call maintenance, and just be consistent with that. And so every time you sit down to organize your receipts, you're not thinking, oh wait, is this a repair? Is this, put it on a little post-it note so you know. And because everybody has kind of a different definition for a repair or a maintenance. And then you get into the balance sheet stuff and your bank state or your bank accounts, and how to track your, especially flippers, work in process. There's a lot you need to keep your work in process on the balance sheet before you close it, and you can, close it out on your profit and loss, and how that gets reported. And I have a chart of accounts, that I have the chart of accounts over here, and then I have a definition of what I like to use it for and what my definitions are. And I can send that to y'all if y'all are interested in that. But I do need to look over it and tweak, because I've noticed some typos and errors in it. So I need to look over that again, but I can send it out if anyone needs it. But less is more when it comes to the chart of accounts. Give yourself less options so you have less of a mental, block and struggle to make that decision. So decide once. And then the last thing I want to really talk about tonight are CPAs. Not all CPAs are created equal. Excuse me. Of course, we would love to find a CPA that specializes in real estate and knows as much as they can about real estate. It's hard to find somebody that knows everything, but there are some out there that do. Most CPAs specialize in tax preparation. I like the financial management side of it. I like helping people manage their businesses from their financial statements. When you're scaling big, it's hard to, like with my former employer, we went from, like, my first year with him was like building 20 houses, and we were building 500 houses by year 8. It matters. You cannot be on every single job site. You can't track how many, boxes of nails people buy. And you just gotta, you gotta kind of look at your financials and manage from your financials. And that's my passion. That's what I want to help people do. But whether you're talking to a CPA to become your bookkeeper or your tax preparer, interview with them, it is a huge process for onboarding. Taxes, a lot of them will just take your information and churn out a tax report. They'll do the little binder. You answer all the little questions, and that's all they know about you. Like, you never really even talk to them. And if that's okay with you, that's fine. But if you want somebody that's more hands-on, that maybe does more tax strategy and tax planning, talk about that in the interview. Ask them those type of questions. Maybe I need to do a sheet of questions to ask tax preparers to make sure they're a good fit, because I see that a lot. It is a lot to just give all your financial information over to someone, and it just them not being what you wanted it to be. So interview them, make sure they're right for you, make sure it's someone you want, you entrust, this with you. As real estate investors, we do a lot of this for the tax benefits. And you need to find someone that's going to help you implement that. And also, a lot of people get confused. CPA does not instantly mean tax preparer, and tax preparer does not mean it has to be a CPA. There's a lot of enrolled agents out there that are not CPAs, but they're still amazing tax preparers, and they do such good work. So don't limit yourself, especially, I read the articles all the time. There's CPA shortages, there's accounting, career shortages. And so I think a lot of more people are becoming enrolled agents. And in starting my bookkeeping business, I've been in some groups, and I've been to conferences, and I've talked to enrolled agents that are just amazing and phenomenal. So, and I think a lot of times, as real estate agents, I'm not real estate agents, real estate investors, we're looking for someone that specializes in it. So, anyways, that's just something to think about. It's hard to find a good CPA that prepares taxes out there that's not already booked up. So I forgot to add that on there. Right now, summertime is the best time to find a new tax preparer for the next year. It's the best time to get on somebody's calendar. They're all doing a lot of vacations and everything, but it's so much easier to get on somebody's calendar right now than it is, January 10th, when you're trying to bring your box of stuff in somewhere. I think that is all I have today. And if anybody's still here, I don't even see where. I hope people are still here. I will open it up for questions.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
So Stessa or QuickBooks, which do you prefer? Because currently we're using Stessa. And then how many properties can we have under Stessa before we have to pay for it? Do you know? Because it's free.
I'm not sure how many properties they can have. And it goes back to whatever works best for you. Stessa, there are pros and cons with Stessa. If you're getting your stuff recorded and you're happy with it and everything, keep using it by all means. Stessa is it's free. You get better reports when you pay for it, but I think if you do bigger pockets, you get it for free. If you have the bigger pockets subscription, you get it. You
Really?
get the upper level for free too. But yeah, Stessa, I'll just say my cons about Stessa. Stessa, um, you can't reconcile with it. So you put all your banking transactions in there, and if you accidentally delete one out, you have no way to know for sure. And so there's more room for error there. But if you're comfortable with it, and it passes your test, especially if you're under 10 or 20 properties. When you get bigger, I would probably absolutely say to grow out of Stessa. But if it's working right now, then stay right there. Um, but uh it's harder to ensure that, and you can't do journal entries. You have to. I can't remember how you do your asset valuations on that, and if you do like improvements and stuff to it. I think they've made it better where you can add your improvements now and everything, but yeah, there are some limitations. But Stessa is very easy to connect your bank account and go through there. They have made it so user friendly. And if they would make a bank reconciliation function, I would be all over it. I would think it's great. Um, but it's what you call a single entry platform, and a lot of the others are double entry. And the double entry it just verifies better with the reconciliations.
Gotcha.
But
Um,
QuickBooks has much better reports, but and QuickBooks uses, there's a couple of different ways you can sort by properties. You can use the class system, but you have to use the $90 a month. But if I have a discount that you get you to like $63 a month. But yeah, the QuickBooks is expensive. Um, it has several different ways you can use your classes and your properties and your projects and stuff. And Stessa is much better in that. Stessa is, this is your property and these are your expenses in it and all that other stuff. So that's pretty good. So there's pros and cons to both.
Right. Um, what states do you work in again?
All 50 states.
All 50. It don't
Yeah.
matter. Good wherever. Okay.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. It's wherever.
Okay. Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you could share your chart of accounts list, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I
Because I didn't even think about too many or too few. Like that'd be
and I see that so much. And that's, people want to sit down and tackle their account or tackle their bookkeeping and get it all up, but literally they're deer in the headlights. I don't know where this goes. I don't know where this goes. I don't know where this goes. And they're like, okay, I'm not going to do this because I don't know where it goes. And when you simplify it and you make those decisions beforehand, and it could be something as simple as, um, well, I don't know. I'm having a brain moment right now. I can't. But yeah, you can overcomplicate that really easy. And I see a lot of people overcomplicate it because they think everything has to be exact and all that. And um, when it comes down to it, there are a few things that for tax purposes that 100% have to be separated. But a lot of it, it's just for reporting for you and your tax preparer to do all that. And because the tax preparer needs to do depreciation on some stuff and there's some things that's not taxable. And so that, yeah, let me spend some time tomorrow to finesse that and get it looking cleaner. And I think I need to reword some of my definitions on there. But I'll do that and I'll shoot it out to everyone.
awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Does anyone else have any questions? Does anybody find this helpful? Was it was it too much? Because when I've been at this for so long. I do talk to people often about getting their books in order and do. I mean, I'm in the business. So I can see what people are struggling with, but I don't know, as because most of us are Better Life Tribe members. I don't know as a collective where we were in the process, if we needed to, what level of discussion we needed to be at. But anyways,
Hey, Sarah.
yes.
Yes, I had a question. Are you familiar with wave accounting?
Wave, yes, I am.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
So Wave is a free product.
Yes.
It is a double entry and you reconcile in it. I do have a client that uses Wave.
Mhm.
The only thing I know with Wave is they're moving to, if you had one previously, I think you can have more than one user on it.
Mhm.
But I think the brand new ones, you can only have one user. So you can't share it with your tax preparer, you can't share it with your bookkeeper. And then the other major issue for real estate investors is the tracking. I can't remember how it is. Uh, our client that has it has like one or two properties but I think you can only have like two different classes.
Mhm.
I think that was the main thing. So if you're looking to expand, really big, um, it could be something to look for in the future to, figure out.
Okay. And would you say overall QuickBooks is really the best of the best?
Right now, it's my preference because because of the reporting functions. There's so many good reporting functions in QuickBooks.
Okay.
Uh, uh, Appfolio and Buildium, I'm trying to think of the other one. Rent Ready's out. I haven't played with Rent Ready too much.
Mhm.
But they have pretty decent accounting functions
Mhm.
and reporting. But QuickBooks just it's so much better on the reporting, especially if you do rehabs or flips. If you use Appfolio for or Buildium for flips, it is um a little more work, a little more effort to get everything where it needs to be.
Mhm.
Uh, so, and I know a lot of us have been, especially in this market, we're buying low and doing the rehab and, getting that built-in appreciation and everything. And yeah, rehabs and flips are much easier that I think are much easier in QuickBooks.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people are anti QuickBooks, and I tried to be anti QuickBooks, but really when it comes down to it, it's just it saves us time to go through there. I was a huge fan of QuickBooks Desktop and anti QuickBooks Online for the longest time because I didn't like the subscription model, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that, I'm not gonna do that. Um, and then, well, because at first also you couldn't do classes in QuickBooks Online. You had to call QuickBooks Online to do another class.
Mhm.
And as real estate investors, especially a few years ago, we were adding houses really, really, really quick. And it was annoying being on the phone. But QuickBooks Online has really come up. And now, so you can track with classes, or you can track with projects, or you can track with businesses. And as real estate investors, we have the entrepreneurial spirit, if you would say. And so, well, I mean, even my husband's on here right now. He's looking into buying a food truck. And so you can I do have um clients. I have one client in particular. They have a farm. He does consulting, she does Airbnbs, and then they have some long-term stuff. And they're all in 4 different LLCs. But all of them together aren't very much. And so we do everything in QuickBooks under the business units. So their tax preparer can just pull the reports separately for the business units. And but I know a lot of CPAs, tax preparers, that don't like that either. I say I know a lot of them. I've ran into a couple of them that don't like that at all.
Mhm.
Uh, that they want separate QuickBooks account for every single thing. And so it's good to ask your tax preparer also what what they recommend and what they like. That's another go-to. And to get over the analysis paralysis when choosing a software is to see what they want. But at the end of the day, QuickBooks, I hate to give them too many plugs, but it is where they are at. I'm hoping Stessa can pull through one of these days and give me more of what I need, because I really like their platform. But maybe we all start an email campaign, and we just go in, like, hey, do this. I'm sure to create that they might have to start charging some, but I don't know. We'll see. Or it
Yeah.
could be just available for the upper tiers and everything. But yeah,
And I
that's
know you probably get this question a lot, but in your opinion, should you have one bank account per property? Like, for example, a business checking, a business savings per property?
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay.
I see a lot of people that do like the profit first,
Mhm.
which I'm a fan of the profit first accounting and system. Um, I I don't do profit first myself. There's a lot of counts and stuff like that for it. Um, but I don't see that's terribly necessary. The main thing I see for separation is and I guess I could have easily put this on there because I think this is overlooked so much.
Mhm.
Um, the security deposits for your long-term tenants. A lot of the state real estate commissions are cracking down on those. I don't know if any of y'all have ever gotten an audit from that. Um, but you have to have your security deposits in most states. It's a non-interest bearing account, And I think California might be requiring you to pay interest on security deposits now. I know it was in the works. I'm not too familiar with that just yet, but the main thing about bank accounts is, and you don't have to keep you don't have to keep all your properties in your security deposit in a separate account.
Mhm.
Um, but you just have to keep your security deposits in a designated security deposit liability account, and they have to match your liabilities. If you have, we'll just use two properties. If you have two properties and each property has $1,000 security deposit, you better have $2,000 in that account all year long. When they, because when you get that audit letter, you have to show that, and they want to make sure you're not using your tenants' money to go off and buy 3 more houses and, "Oh, I'll pay that back. I'll pay that back. I'll pay that back." And that's kind of what they're doing. Yeah, but I don't see, I think it's hard. How do you say your name? Solely?
Yes.
Is that how you say it? Okay. Oh, but I was wanting to say it, but I don't want to mess it up.
No problem.
So solely, it's hard to say, do you have everything separate, or were you
Um,
wanting to?
well, I'm just trying to figure out an easier way to do it.
Yeah, I think some people, and the same with LLCs. There are people that say, and I'm not a lawyer, so I can't advise you on how to set up your companies,
Right.
but um I don't think multiple LLCs are absolutely necessary, or one LLC per property is, um if you had one LLC per property, you would have to do one checking account, one savings account for that.
Mhm.
Um, but I think as long as it was under the same LLC, you could just use that.
Yep.
I
And
think because business checking accounts are starting to cost a lot more too, so that would save you
I,
some money there. But also, when you go, when you would have to pay out a separate account for every. But I think the way they're doing it solely, I think the way they're doing some of that is through a holding count, a holding property at the top
holding company.
too.
So what I have set up right now is I have one of my banks. They actually, once you have a checking account, you can open multiple sub accounts. So that's kind of how I have it set up right
Oh,
now. But
okay.
you can only have so many of that, so you have to open. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Is it
Uh,
one bank statement that you have to reconcile?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'll have to verify that.
Okay,
But
that wouldn't be too bad then.
so it's yeah, it's basically one account, and you have multiple ones. You like I have it separated, one for taxes, one for yep, marketing costs and just things like that, and one for payroll and so on. For
Yeah.
but yeah,
Okay, that
I'll just pay.
that
So
might, I can see that be easier instead of, because I would hate to, go to Home Depot and be like, "Oh, which account do I have to pay?"
yeah,
Or you go to Depot and you get, for several different houses and everything,
yeah.
um which
Awesome.
hopefully.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to discuss, or
I
maybe any
do have
topics
a
for next?
question.
Okay. Yes, Janelle, go ahead.
Um, so I use Stessa as well, and it connects to my property manager and it imports the transactions once they drop a statement. And that works fine. I can go in and adjust the transactions if the categories aren't quite right or whatever. But now I'm doing a flip, and I guess my question is, is there anything I need to look out from an accounting perspective or bookkeeping perspective? Because then all I'm doing is paying the contractor. So when I guess tax time comes around, do I need to have like specific line items, or is it just going to be lumped into kind of that one, rehab budget, I guess, or rehab expense?
Good question. So, um, this could go several different ways. Um, and right now I'm trying to think how Stessa does this. I may have to get in Stessa and play around with this and get back to you. Um, but so with flips, we're in June right now. So there's a good chance you're going to have that placed in service before December 31st. Um, but if it were to happen to go into next year, you would have to take those expenses off your profit and loss and put them on your balance sheet. And I'm trying to think, I don't think Stessa has a good way to do that right now. I'd have to go in and double check. But if it gets placed in service by 12/31, then yes, it's fine. It all can stay in your profit and loss there. But you aren't paying for materials or anything. You just pay the general contractor for all.
Correct. Yes.
So okay, so that's pretty clean. That's
Okay.
the best way to do it. I think you should be fine using Stessa for that.
Okay. So I won't need
Are
any
you, go
like
ahead.
so I won't need any detail behind kind of okay, total cost was this. I don't need to break it down by I don't know
If you
line.
want to do, um, so if you want to do a cost segregation, it would be great for that. I wonder if your contractor has the breakdowns for you, or do they send you an invoice with the breakdowns?
No, it's just an invoice for the draw. So
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, um, when you when you do a cost segregation, um, basically, I think we all probably know about cost segregation. They're on all the podcasts now. But basically what they do is they divide up into those line items, those categories. And so if you were doing a cost segregation, I would think that would be very, very important. But if your tax preparer is just going to lump that all into a 27.5 year property, then you wouldn't need the line items. I think that would be the only way you would need that, or if you needed that information for yourself somehow.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just what do you have a current tax preparer that maybe you could ask that about?
No, I need to find one.
Okay. I want to figure out a way to get like a good list of real estate focused tax preparers because that is one of the biggest questions I get asked too is do I know anybody that's taking anybody right now? And usually when I find a good one, they get booked really quick. So um I think I have a couple right now that might have some openings. I'll have to message them this week. So thank you for that question. That was good.
Thanks.
Hi, Sarah. This is Kevin.
Hey Kevin, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for doing this. I'm using Zero right now, and I've been using it for other businesses, and I'm moving into real estate this year. Um, I'd really like to have your discount on QuickBooks so I can change to QuickBooks because everything I read about, flipping houses and everything, everybody says use QuickBooks.
Yeah, I think they limit on your classes, or you have to go up to a much higher paying one than QuickBooks. I can't remember the exact on Zero, but I've looked into Zero and because I'm telling you, I wanted QuickBooks not to work. I was trying to find because everybody has such a bad taste about it because I guess maybe because they had a monopoly over it, but yeah, Zero was another one I really wanted to like, but it was very limited. What other businesses, industries, or is it all real estate or different?
No, I did things outside of real estate, so it
Yeah.
was his prior. I was in Amazon, selling a lot of Amazon stuff.
Oh, yeah, very nice. Yeah, that's good for that. Um, so yeah,
Except when you sell something like I got into shoes and everybody got into shoes. I got into wholesale. Everybody got into wholesale. I got into new toys and everybody got in that. And then every time I did it, it was good for about a year, and then all of a sudden it just goes away.
yeah. But yeah, you
Hmm.
can if you still have any of those businesses that kind of make
They're
money,
gone.
they're gone. Okay.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can use QuickBooks to track a couple of different things. It's probably not, I don't know. I need to ask Amanda Hahn what she thinks about using QuickBooks for several different things. Um, I think it's fine. I have clients that have several businesses in there, but yeah. Kevin, I will write that
Amanda
down.
Hunt doesn't suggest QuickBooks?
No, I need to know for using it for several different businesses.
Oh, I got it.
No, yeah, she does. She uses QuickBooks too. I'm writing you down so I don't forget to send you the QBO link.
How long does that last?
So if you go on QBO right now, you can get 50% off for 3 months. I used to have one where you would get 30% off for as long as you paid your bill every single month, and you never quit it, but they backed it down to 12 months.
Well,
So
that's better.
30% off for 12 months,
Yeah, I think
which comes
I
out
looked
better than,
into it. It was gonna be $90 a month.
yeah.
It's not
I
exactly
think
cheap.
they're coming out with and this is another reason they have so many price increases. I saw the email saying there was another price increase, but I haven't
Jeez.
had a chance to open it yet. But yeah,
For a small business, that's a lot of money.
it is. They keep inching it up and just like
Because they can. Thank you.
you're welcome. And I will say, I don't know what just triggered this, but if you pay contractors and you do 1099 payments at the end of the year, I think Gusto is the best for that right now, just because you can pay them with ACH through Gusto, and Gusto sends them the 1099 and everything, and it's pretty much hands off. So if y'all are looking for software for that, that's my recommendation. I don't think I have a discount for that. If I put you on as a client, but I don't know how that works, but I would use Gusto for 1099 payments if you have a ton of them. I think QuickBooks has some issues with their 1099 reporting and stuff like that. If you have to report outside of QuickBooks, you're under 1099. There are a couple of different easy ways to do that, but yeah.
Could we do something on that at some point? Because this is my first time hiring a contractor. So I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know anything about doing 1099s.
we could do a whole thing from hiring a contractor to how you pay them to how you, yeah, we could do a whole thing on that. Mhm.
Awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. Does anybody have anything else? You can, I think we're all Better Life Tribe members. You can DM me on the Circle app. You can find me on Instagram. You can email me. And I love chatting. If you want me to look at if you want to set up a call and we can look at what your setup is, and if you have any questions over that, I'll do a free 30-minute call and sit down and look at that with you and everything. No strings attached. I'm literally just, um, I just I feel like bookkeeping has such a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Well, Brandon shouted me out on Instagram earlier today. I'm so excited about that. So happy for that. Um but and he put the hashtag bookkeeping sucks, and I don't think it sucks. And he always talks about find your heart and tackle that, and that's my heart. That bookkeeping is my easy, and I want to help people through it, because I found 2.5, 3 years ago when I started this business, it was booming, and I was having so many sales calls after sales calls after sales calls, and it was like people with no properties yet, and they had paid $20,000 for courses, and they were like, well, we have to do this and this and this. And I'm like, no, you need to go find a property first, and then we'll get all this down. And they were so stressed about it. And I'm like, no, just go focus on the property, and we'll figure out the bookkeeping later. So, but anyways, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the finances, the reporting, looking at them and finding issues and making decisions out of them. So that's where I'm at. Feel free to hit me up on any of them. I guess if no one else has any questions, we'll shut it down, and I'll announce on Circle more of a routine. I was looking at the calendar today. I think, once a month we'll do an evening one, and once a month we'll do a morning one, and maybe we'll do it like the second Tuesday and maybe the fourth Tuesday of the month, and we can switch back and forth like that, and do what we can there. Thank y'all so much for showing up for my first little session. Got it out of the way. We'll figure it out. And
Thank
You did
you.
awesome.
Yes, it was great. Thank you for doing this.
thank y'all so much. We'll holler at y'all later.
Take care, sir.
Bye.
Bye.